right into it. We are following up the Monday Night Football game versus the Detroit Lions, defeating the Seattle Seahawks 42-29. Kaz, what were your thoughts?
First thing that stood out to me was really Geno Smith's performance was awesome. Obviously, Jared Goff was perfect for the whole game, like legitimately perfect. But Geno's, if you were to ask me, I think he outplayed Goff. Goff had, I think it was no incompletions. Completed every pass, like I said. But at the same time, Jameson Williams, big 80-yard touchdown run or catch and run. A couple of the big plays downfield as well. Goff is also catching touchdown passes, and this is no discredit to Goff. He literally had a perfect game. So if someone wants to argue and say, well, what do you mean Geno Smith outplayed him? What I mean is Geno Smith was balling. Like Geno Smith was dealing with a lot of pressure. He was extending plays. I mean, he looked phenomenal. He looked like a Geno Smith I've never seen before. I think this is probably his best. This is probably a career game for Geno Smith, I'm guessing. I'm not sure how many touchdowns he threw for. I only think maybe one. But regardless, I mean, he put up he had been close to 400 yards, I believe. So
395.
Yeah, just impressive game from Geno Smith. I really enjoyed just again seeing him extend the plays that he did, and he stood out to me. Kenneth Walker, he balled out. I mean, everybody balled out. Let's just call it what it is. On both sides of the offense both teams offensively balled out. Good game. It's about time. I've been waiting for a really good football game all season long. That was for sure. If you were to ask me, the game of the week, probably outside of the Packers and Vikings game. I really enjoyed that game at the end, but this was a very, very good game by two very good NFC teams. If that's what the playoffs are going to look like, we're in for a treat. So awesome Monday night game, and I think that Geno Smith proved a lot of people wrong in that game. He played his ass off.
Yeah, man. Geno Smith, I've been telling people all season long, I believe in the Seahawks. I believe that every time I say the Seahawks, it has to follow the NFC West champions. I feel like it just goes together. This team has shown it week in and week out, no matter who's on the other side of the football, that they're going to show up to play. Geno Smith didn't right back again, I guess, because like Kaz mentioned, throwing for 395. I mean, yeah, you could say Goff went 18 for 18, but Geno's out there slinging it. We were talking about are they going to take a quarterback 2 years ago, and now Geno Smith is the guy. So they have a lot going on. We see JSN making plays here and there. Seeing Kenneth Walker back in the lineup was huge for me personally.
You see that broken tackle that he had? He's like,
bro, when it was I wasn't a tackle.
He did
it wasn't a tackle. He just held him up.
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, let me just throw you on my back and flip over you."
Yeah. He did the spin Rooney on him, bro. It was crazy.
That was crazy. But DK Metcalf is on one of those tours. He's on the tours of letting everybody know who the fuck he is. Everyone's forgotten about him. DK Metcalf is still one of those guys. Like Toddy mentioned, yeah, he was one of the first guys to get paid, so that's why his name hasn't been brought up and all these new guys are passing him up. But he's one of the guys that have been doing this for a long time. So to see him keep going and this defense, I keep talking about these corners. These corners in Seattle, man, are going to be the real deal. They get this rest of the team together. They had 5 injuries on defense, I believe. Going on the road, playing against a team that went to the NFC Championship is never easy. So they're an up-and-coming team. This was their first loss of the season, so it's not a bad loss to say you lost to the team that went to the NFC Championship. So there's a lot of good things in Seattle. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do moving forward. But Toddy, what were your thoughts on the Detroit Lions handling business against the Seattle Seahawks 42-29?
Same old Seahawks. I mean, hey, you go and you play Patriots, beat them. Well, I forget who else they beat. But this was the real test for them. Monday Night Football against Detroit.
Broncos and Browns tied with other two teams.
Okay, yes. Rookie quarterback, first start. Deshaun Watson his ass. Okay, yes. Geno Smith played a pretty good game. A lot of yards. DK balled. I feel like this is what we're gonna see. I mean, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat. You play a team, yes, that Kevin mentioned went to the NFC Championship game last year. Let's kind of see what you're made of here on Monday Night Football. This is kind of the stage we need to see. And I don't think that the Seattle defense could really get stops when they needed to, because whenever Seattle scored, the Lions went right back and scored again. Like it was bing, bang, boom. Like they just marched down the field pretty much whenever they want. Amon-Ra is doing whatever type of dances he's doing in the end zone. I'm pretty sure he's crip walking in the end zone. You got Jared Goff is catching touchdown passes in the back of the
Like
special, man.
Jared Goff is catching touchdown passes. Like you got David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs. I know all the fantasy owners went insane today with all the Jahmyr Gibbs touches that he was getting. He was getting in the end zone. So, I mean, Seattle, it's all downhill from here. Couple of weeks, you got to come see us. And you know who us is. They got to come see about us. They're 3-1 now. Oh, okay. Let's see if we can hold on to the division. I'm just letting you know. Things are you get back to life, back to reality. That's what's about to happen.
You might need to keep that
Rams game too.
It's all about to start happening because things are in motion right now. I get it. You guys were 3-0. It was a good start, great start, but you got to start coming back to reality after these next couple of games. I don't know who they play next week, but I know in 2 weeks they'll come see us on Monday night or on Thursday night.
They play the Giants next week.
Okay, so are the Giants good? I don't know.
Okay. If Malik Neighbors doesn't play, then absolutely not. If Malik Neighbors plays, then
I think he'll play because he had 10 days to recover from a concussion.
That's the franchise now.
So, we'll see. Where's that game at? It's probably in New York, I would imagine.
It's in Seattle.
It's in Seattle. Okay, so they got a better chance at winning that game. I would imagine they'd be favored. But yeah, I will be very. The Lions are one of those teams I think that a lot of people kind of have as they're one of the favorites in the NFC to kind of be one of the final four teams, I would imagine. But yeah, their talent was on full display. A lot of people kind of Jameson Williams, I knew in college he was going to be this. He just happened to tear his ACL in literally the championship game against Georgia. And then they kind of like fell off at the end because there was a bunch of injuries kind of going on. They were already missing John Mechie Jr. in that national championship game. And then J-Mo tears his ACL in that same game. Still goes, I think still goes in the first round, rather high. And a lot of people kind of forgot about him. And he was kind of coming back from injury and working his way back last year. And then you kind of saw him explode in the playoffs. And he was scoring a bunch, especially in the NFC Championship game. He was going off. And now, as Kevin has him on his fantasy team, he's a top 5 in a fantasy receiver. Jameson Williams is definitely going to be one of them ones to come for sure. So you match him with Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got David Montgomery. Nobody can tackle him. You got Jahmyr Gibbs. That tandem, like this offense is insane. It's a legit
Sam Laporta and Sam Laporta.
Thank you, Laporta too. Who was also kind of a little bit weary coming off of injury too, as well. In the playoffs last year. So, I mean, really, I feel like what's going to hinder them is their defense. We saw Geno kind of light it up this week. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, we saw Hutchinson go off for like 4 sacks, but they lost. So the defense has to tighten its screws a little bit, I think, but I feel like when the offense is humming, no one can really stop them. And I mean, like I said, I hate to be, kind of like sound like a broken record, but in the NFC Championship game, they were up on the Niners big in the first half. And things kind of got weird at the end. Things happened and they ended up losing, but I mean, they have the potential to definitely go back to the NFC Championship game. And then the Lions minus 3.5 was free money. I just wanted to let that know.
Free money.
Free money.